This is a quickish tutorial on how I currently make karaoke music videos. Um, this is really just a snapshot of my current process. I'm not exactly recommending this as a process that should work for everyone. In fact, it'll probably only work for people on a Mac who are comfortable spending a little bit on some software and are comfortable running one or two commands on the terminal. So that's going to be, people who are, in a similar situation to me, where Mac is your daily driver, and you're maybe a little bit comfortable with technology. Maybe you're a software engineer or a designer, or maybe you're just willing to learn a little bit of the terminal to understand how this works. But I'm showing this just because some people ask, like, how do you create them so quickly, or like, what's your process? Just because different people have very different processes of creating these videos in the karaoke community, and I find it interesting to share and to learn from others. And I've learned a lot from the community, so I want to kind of at least share what I currently do. The reason I'm saying currently is because I absolutely expect this to change for me in the future, because I am actively working on software to automate more of this process and make it easier. But I also want to work on tools that other people can use without needing to be comfortable with the terminal or without specifically using a Mac. So I'm trying to collaborate with folks who are building things like the tool to give a web-based way of synchronizing lyrics and stuff. So there's a bunch of things coming, but for now this is a snapshot of what I do when I'm kind of creating karaoke tracks. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use a royalty-free track that I found earlier on YouTube. I've actually never even listened to this song before, so it's a perfect demo of what I genuinely do when I do get commissions, because I get commissions from my Fiverr gig. Most of the time I am not focusing too much on, like, I'm not being a sound quality absolutist either. Like, I love lossless audio for music that I listen to, but because I'm uploading everything to YouTube anyway, everything gets kind of compressed by YouTube, so there's not that much point in me starting with FLAC personally, or lossless audio. So I just download things from YouTube and then run them through the model to separate the audio, the vocals from the instrumental, and then upload them back to YouTube, which, I mean, the sound quality is good enough for 99% of people out there who are watching stuff on YouTube or using karaoke tracks, but it's not perfect. But yeah, so basically my process is to take a YouTube video. So if somebody's requested a song by name, I'll just search for that song on YouTube. Most things are already on YouTube, so it's pretty convenient. If it's not on YouTube and I've got an MP3 file, I can still use the same process. But my step one process is to open my terminal. So I personally use iTerm on my Mac, but there's also the built-in terminal on Macs that you can use for this. And there's a bit of software that that I've actually written that kind of helps with this, which is this karaoke video generator. Now, it doesn't actually generate the whole thing. Maybe one day it will. We'll see. I don't think it'll ever replace human synchronized and human quality levels. But the idea is to, like, automate some of the process to make it easier for people to do the sort of perfectionist bits. But I still use this as like my first thing. And the way this works, so you can install this. It's a Python package. For anyone who's not used Python before, you can still kind of use it pretty easily without needing to know anything about Python. If you're on a Mac, you can install software using Brew. If you've never used Brew before, look up Homebrew, and you'll find it's pretty easy to install from a terminal. Now, you may have never used a terminal before, but even if you've never touched a terminal before, you might be able to find a YouTube video that just shows you. But basically, you just open the terminal, run this command, and that will install Brew. Then you can do brew install Python, or brew install pip. Either way, once you have pip and Python installed, you can use pip to install karaoke generator just by copying this command and running it. Once you have it installed, so this is a little bit of software that I've built. It's open source, anyone can use it. You basically tell it to either link to a YouTube video or the file path to an MP3 or some other sound file that you might have on your computer, and the song or artist and song title. Sorry, it's taking a moment. This is because the version I have on my computer right now actually has a debugger at the start of it, so it takes a moment to load up. Yeah, so this is the sort of the help output from this little command. But you pass in the artist and the title and the YouTube video. If you're familiar with terminal programs and running commands on the terminal, then this will be familiar. If you're not familiar with it, I'll just show you what it looks like. So basically, you type karaoke-generator space and then the link to the YouTube video. artist and then quotes and the name of the artist. So in this case, the artist is Dylan Emmett. Sorry, Dylan, I do not know. And then title and then quotes, lose this. And the only reason you can actually do it without passing in the artist and title as well, but if you do pass those in, it looks up lyrics from Spotify and Genius.com as well and downloads them into a folder for you, and it's a bit more convenient. So you'll see that this script is kind of doing several things. It's first of all downloading the video from YouTube. After downloading the video from YouTube, it then runs it through the separator, which separates the instrumental from the vocals. This is using one of the machine learning models that was trained by the person, oh god, I've forgotten his username now, Androcko7, who created Ultimate Vocal Remover, which is like this graphical program you can use to separate audio instrumentals from vocals. I've basically written a Python script that does this without needing to use a graphical program for it, which for me is easier because I'm trying to do everything in an automated way, but for some people it might be easier to do this separation part using Ultimate Vocal Remover's graphical program. So you can always open UVR, which is incredibly powerful, and it had lots of models built into it. The model I'm using for my automated thing is the Kara 2 model, I think it's called, or the MDXNet UVR Kara 2. Basically, it's a model that Anjok has trained specifically for the purpose of separating instrumentals from vocals whilst trying to retain background vocals in the instrumental track, which is perfect for karaoke, where you might want to have some of those backing vocals. It doesn't always do a perfect job, but in my experience, it always does a good enough job. So if you're using the graphical UVR, is this model that I choose to use, and you get this list of models by going into the settings and then going into, I think, I've lost track, is it here? Oh no, it's Download Center, and then you can download specific MDXNet models from this list, and the one I use is, well, it's not in the list because I've already downloaded it, but it's normally here, it's like the Kara 2 one. But as I say, I'm not actually using the graphical program anymore, I'm just using my karaoke generator script. If you don't like the karaoke generator script, there's also kind of the separate parts, including the audio separator and the lyrics transcriber, which are two different bits of what I automate that you can use individually as well. These are both command line tools that you can run. So for example, this one just separates audio, and the lyrics transcriber just attempts to transcribe lyrics with timestamps, word level timestamps, and you can run that separately on any file as well. But kind of going off script a bit. So yeah, it's going back on track to this. So I'm kind of just talking through my process whilst I'm waiting for this to separate, because it does take about a minute or two. How long has it been? Maybe 2 or 3 minutes? I don't know. So the separation actually is has pretty much completed now. Well, I guess it's just doing the last bit of that. After it does the separation of instrumental from vocals, the next thing it does is runs the lyrics transcriber. And what that does is it passes the soundtrack, or the vocal sound file, through a machine learning model called Whisper. In fact, actually, that is what it was doing just there. And what Whisper does is it's basically speech to text. Well, I guess I'll show you what this outputs, because what this is output here is a folder in wherever the folder was that I ran it, and inside that are a bunch of files. So we've got the original video file that was downloaded from YouTube. We've also got a snapshot. In fact, I'll open this in Finder, because for people who are less terminal, in fact, that's the terminal bit done, so we don't need the terminal open anymore. So just to show you what the files are that this spits out. So we've got the video file downloaded from YouTube. We've got a single still image from the YouTube video. It takes one that's like 30 seconds in, or maybe it's 30 frames in, I can't remember now. Either way, the idea is sometimes it's nice to create a karaoke video using the background image from a video or something. It's got the audio extracted from that YouTube video, so just in WAV form. And then these two files at the top here are the ones generated by the separations. So we've got the instrumental and the vocals. So just to show you what this is like the original audio, if I play that, in case this is completely new to you and you've never used UVR or anything, we've got this. When you're not holding me. you get the gist. It's a song. Stop that. And then if we go to the instrumental version of this, actually, that's surprising. There's actually a few more vocals in that than I expected. That's interesting. So wait, what's in the vocal one? Hang on. Okay. To turn around, I can see it now. Yeah. It's actually this is actually proving to be a bad example because this is the first time that I've used the Kara 2 model and the instrumentals actually had some of the main vocals in it. Although honestly I don't know this song, so maybe I've got that wrong as well. I'll still show you what it does anyway because it's still going to be an okay demo, but I might need to run that through a different model to separate the instrumental a bit more cleanly. So the other files that it spits out, it also outputs an LRC file, which is like a lyrics file. I'm going to open that in my code editor to show you what that looks like, but you probably don't need too much. Damn it, this is a really bad example now because this is just not detected anything. Okay. This is going to be an interesting one. Well, anyway, it has managed to fetch the lyrics from Genius. That's good. Has it fetched lyrics from Spotify as well? Yes, it has. Okay. Well, let's show you what the next bit looks like anyway. So normally what I do then is I open the original audio, including the lyrics, in the basically the software that I use for everything for the rest of the process, which is MidiCo at the moment. So I will open that in this. And then I open the lyrics file and I grab the lyrics, sanity check them usually if it's a song I know, but if it's not a song I know, I will just wing it and correct things as I go. And open the maker. So this is the Karaoke Maker synchronizer feature of MidiCo. I should say MidiCo is not free. I think it cost, I actually don't know how much it cost. It wasn't super expensive, but I guess that depends on your frame of reference. 30 euros, okay. So, and that's for like a lifetime license, so not too bad in my opinion. In fact, actually definitely not bad because I've already made quite a lot more than that back in commissions from making karaoke videos, so worthwhile. So the first thing I do is, I guess, open the synchronizer, click edit lyrics, paste in lyrics, and then looking at the sort of visual thing here on the right, you want to make sure that none of the lines go off into the red sections because then they're going to end up getting too squished at the sides. So if there's ones that go off like that one, you want to just sort of break that line at some point. It doesn't really matter where. Ideally you want to do it kind of semantically, you know, kind of like try and capture a concept together in one line, but yeah, I don't know, it's kind of hard. So here I might do like didn't want to be and then enter, or might didn't want to be the one and then enter, you know, to split that into two lines, but it doesn't really matter too much. Same with this one, I'll try to be consistent with that. So I didn't want to be the one, yeah, sure. And that's everything in this one. So let's click OK. And then honestly, like this is just showing you how to use MidiCo. The way it works is you click Start Sync and it will start playing the track, showing you the words that haven't been synchronized yet. And you press spacebar whenever the person is singing that word. Sometimes words might be split into multiple syllables, so you can either choose to keep them whole as they are at the moment, or you can use the hyphenate feature that this has to separate them, or to try and separate them into like separate syllables, but I don't feel like that does a perfect job, so I tend to not use that. And I'm actually quite happy with the way the videos are that I produce already without needing it to be per syllable. It depends on the song. Sometimes the syllables are important, but most cases I don't do that. I'll just show you what it looks like and you'll see what it is. I mean, this is only 2 minutes, so I'm basically just going to do the whole song. I usually do it in one pass. Sometimes I'll listen to the song through first and just check the lyrics first if I'm trying to do a really good job. Let's see. No, that wasn't that. All right. So you'll see, I'm gonna stop talking to you and just do what I normally do. But basically, anytime I make a mistake, I stop it, use this button to unsynchronize the thing I just synchronized and continue syncing from where I last left off. So you're gonna see me doing that a few times because I don't know this song at all and I have no idea where the lyrics come in. So I'm gonna be guessing and then correcting myself.
walking away. Your words are lost on me. It's taking everything not to turn around.
I was a bit overzealous with that knot.
Not to turn around. Throw it away.
Oh.
See.
Try that one more time.
Throw it away. See if you'll let go of me when you're not holding me. I can see it now.
See me trying to guess and doing it wrong. But this is normal.
I can see it now. Hey, when I lose, but if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing this a long time. Lost in my head, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose.
So I got the rhythm wrong there. I was just a bit too. In fact, actually, I think I got this one a little bit wrong as well. This one. Just play that again to see how I did that. Yeah, I didn't hang that lose for too long. So just to give you to explain this, the lose there is sustained for a little bit longer than I gave it here. I pressed space a bit too zealously before the it, so I'm just going to shrink this one down, which MidiCo makes it really easy to do, and extend this lose, and then just play it again and make sure that it syncs up well enough. Also make that it a bit longer too, which makes sense because it's the same as this one.
I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing this a long time. Lost in my head, I'm
Okay, back on track.
lost in my head, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it.
Not quite. Because I didn't press space bar.
Lost in my head, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this. I'm up all day, all night, replaying our last fight. Now in hindsight, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this. Yeah, kinda hate myself sometimes. Everything was on the line. Didn't wanna be the one who had to say it. No, I can't move one at a time. Promise I'll put down my pride. Don't look back because I mean it when I say it. But if I'm gonna lose,
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was a background vocal or not, but it looks like it's actually real, so I need to start back here and go.
don't look back because I mean it when I say it. But if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
Sorry, got that one wrong.
But if I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
Keep trying to guess it. Oh, it is confusing. That vocal's so quiet in the background, I can barely hear it. Okay. Got that wrong because it's the foreground and the background vocals are so intermingled. It's really hard to know which one's supposed to be the foreground and which isn't. But yeah, so. Okay, well, we made it to the end. I'm happy enough with my synchronizations of this. It's definitely a bit confusing what's the foreground, what's the background, so we'll see how it looks. But at this point, I would generally say this is good enough. Now it's just a matter of checking if that syncs the vocals. At this point, what I usually do is I'll save the file, because I've had MidiCo crash on me quite a few times. It's not perfect, but that's fine. So I'm going to just save this as Dylan Emmett. Lose this karaoke. And then I will also export the lyrics file. So the LRC file is the synchronized word-by-word timestamps, and super valuable as far as I'm concerned. That's the thing I've just put the work into creating by synchronizing these. So I definitely want a version of that saved, because then if for whatever reason MidiCo crashes, or I need to try and use another program, like that's the value that I've created by synchronizing this. What I actually do then is I immediately export the movie, but for whatever reason MidiCo doesn't show you that option until you've reopened the program. I don't really understand why. It's a bit glitchy, but it's fine, it works. So I just reopen the file I just saved, and now MidiCo gives me the option to export it. Don't know why, but anyway. I should say actually, MidiCo has some settings in here. I have a background image that I've created that is used for all of them, and the colors are like my standard brand. It's pretty easy to customize. Obviously, you can't do anything crazy like some of the karaoke producers do and have like super custom style. You can just have a background image, but that's good enough for me. So I just save it with the same file name. I always export in 4K. Usually takes about 2 minutes to render. Now, no, I'm rendering this with the vocals, or like with the original version of the song. Oh, actually, I want to go and listen. But once this finishes rendering, I then go back to the terminal one more time, and I use a little command called Remux Video, which is basically, it's another one of these. Actually, it's not a Python script. It's an alias, which just uses FFmpeg to replace the audio with a different file, or with audio from a different file. So I take the movie file, the .mov file that MidiCo exports in, and I replace the audio with the instrumental version from this. You can technically do it with MidiCo. It has a feature in the synchronizer which is like change soundtrack, and then it should in theory export with the new soundtrack, specifically designed to do this. But in my experience, whenever I use that feature, it's like hit or miss whether or not the output file actually has the correct audio all the way through. Sometimes it just seems to stop a few seconds in. As I say, it's a bit buggy. Don't really know why, but I've just gotten into the habit of not using that, and instead I use this. I use FFmpeg to swap out the audio, and then I have complete confidence because FFmpeg is not buggy software at all. It's like tried and tested. So you'll see what I do in a moment. But while I wait for that, I'm actually just going to check these audios again and see if these make sense. Because like this instrumental had. Okay, is that his background vocals? That makes sense. His background as well. I was going to say. Okay, yeah, that's when he came in with the main vocals, I think. I guess there are just a lot of background. Okay, so I guess when he gets to this bit, that's being included in the instrumental. It's debatable if that's a good thing or not. This bit. Yeah, this should definitely not be an instrumental. I don't think. Oh, it's really tricky, isn't it? Because some people who are singing karaoke would actually appreciate this. The verse is definitely not an instrumental. Oh, it's kind of coming in now. Okay, yeah, I don't think that instrumental's actually done a good job. So I am going to extract that again using a different model. I'm actually just going to do that with UVR because it'll be a good demo for the purpose of showing other people how that works. But UVR is really easy to use. So let's do that. Oh, also our video has been created now, so just to show you what that's like.
lost on me.
I've got something. Oh, actually, no, this is the original because this doesn't have the separation. So let me create a new instrumental using UVR first. So go back into here. So I'm going to start with the original audio from this and output the same folder. Now this time, because I know the Karaoke 2 model actually didn't work very well for this, I'm going to use the instrumental HQ3 model, which in my opinion does a much better job, and just output the instrumental only. I'll just do it in wave format because not enough storage. What? Oh dear. Oh no. Why isn't there enough storage on my hard drive? Let me pause this video and fix that. Okay. So I'm going to cut out the bits before, so you're not going to know what I'm talking about, but basically my disk ran out of space and I just fixed it. Anyway, so we're going to try and process this track using the InstHQ3 model. Hopefully UVR won't complain this time. Yay! Okay, so UVR will take just like a couple of minutes to do the separation. And this is doing exactly the same as my command line thing was doing earlier, but using a different model. You'll find that some models will work better with some songs and some with others. It kind of depends on what you're looking for and how important it is to try and keep some of the background vocals or not. I can't really give you a better story to tell than that, other than just try a couple. But I pretty much exclusively use the Karaoke 2 one for most of my karaoke tracks. It just so happens that for whatever reason this demo, I think it's probably because the track I'm using isn't really a mainstream produced track. It's a royalty-free track that probably hasn't been produced in the way that a lot of the tracks that these models were trained on might be. So I guess it is a bit of a weird track. And the background vocals are a bit confusing about what's background and what's not. So I can see why the Karaoke 2 model struggled with it. But the Inst one, like the instrumental HQ3 model, is incredible at just separating all vocals from all instruments. So I'm pretty confident the output from that won't have any vocals in the instrumental, which is what we want for a karaoke track most of the time. Now, some people have a much higher quality bar than I do for karaoke tracks. Like, I'm generally happy with an all-instrumental track. Some people really want to keep some of the background track vocals, because it depends on the song. You know, for some songs it's more important than others. So there are other programs you can use, audio editors, to take some of the background vocals from one output from one model and sort of snippet those into another file that's been created by another model, or you can just experiment more with more different models and see if you can get an output that you want. I don't have the patience to go to that level of detail unless someone's paying me a lot, which very rarely anyone's paying me to make karaoke. So yeah, what you're seeing is my normal level of effort. In fact, actually, you're seeing way more effort than I normally put in, because normally it's easier than this. Normally the first output from my karaoke generator script is enough to do everything. But c'est la vie. Live demo means sometimes there are hiccups, I guess. Let's give this a moment. As soon as this output's a file, I'm just going to give it a quick listen through to make sure the instrumental is actually good. And then I guess I can prepare for the next bit, because honestly the next bit is uploading it to YouTube. So I go to YouTube Studio, go to content, and I upload the video here. So we can be ready for that then. Alright, so UVR's done processing, so we now have another instrumental file that is just generated here. So this is the one that I got from my Kara 2 model earlier, and this one is the one we just generated. Let's see what this is like. Yeah, no vocals whatsoever. Which is what it does, this model. It's very good at doing that. So I think I'm going to use that one for this. So the only other thing I need to do is use my Remux video command to take the movie file and replace the audio with this instrumental one. Which, again, if you're comfortable with the command line, you'll probably see how to do quite easily. If you're not, I might make a script to make it easier. or just Google FFmpeg Remux or something. You'll find it. Remux, by the way, is just a word that means like take a video file and change the audio, or actually, I guess, why am I explaining what remuxing is? You can Google it. Anyway, so what that's done is it's created 2 movie files now. One which is the original one that has the vocals, it's just moved that, and one which has the new audio. So this is basically my output karaoke video now. I just kind of click through it to make sure that it's all good. Seems good to me. So I will jump to YouTube now and upload it. You see what I was doing earlier. And it is now this one. And then I stick a hyphen for consistent format. I put karaoke brackets, and I already have a template on my YouTube for on this YouTube account for anything I upload. It automatically puts a description in here, which kind of links to things about karaoke community, has a disclaimer and stuff about copyright. So in theory, that's supposed to kind of like protect me a bit, give some people some context, help direct people to our Discord and stuff. But yeah, I just kind of click publish, done. And there we go. We just stuck a new karaoke video on YouTube. I mean, it'll still take like half an hour at least for YouTube to process it, but usually it takes a little bit less than that before you can actually watch it. Processing will begin shortly. Let's see if you can watch it. No. Alright, well, sometimes within like a minute or two you can still get a low quality version and it'll be watchable. So basically what I've just shown you is how to use MidiCo mostly to create a karaoke video on a Mac, but with some helper tools. And those helper tools, for me anyway, are my karaoke generator script, where I pass in the YouTube video name and title, and that does the work of fetching the video, separating the audio, and fetching lyrics for me from a couple of different sources, Genius and Spotify. Sometimes the Genius doesn't have lyrics, or sometimes there's some issues with them. So I'll go for the Spotify ones, or often I end up correcting the lyrics a little bit myself, because sometimes lyrics just aren't quite right, or they'll be missing choruses, or they'll be missing some little bits and stuff. So, but fortunately you can correct those fairly easily in MidiCo. Yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks for watching my tutorial, I guess. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or message me on Discord or something. I'm Andrew/Nomad Karaoke. Hopefully I'll have a less chaotic and much easier to follow video that also works for people who aren't as terminal friendly at some point in the next few months, because I am working on those tools. That's all I have. Oh, actually it says it's probably gonna... Wait, can I watch it now? There we go, yeah. New karaoke video. Alright, you get the gist. Thanks. Bye.